You see, I don't think you guys told her who her father was. She thinks it was a man
I
of the. She thinks it was a duster of the ant tribe. So she says, "It seems to me that if we reconcile with the people of the ant, that's the most that my mother's spirit could hope for."
well, okay.
So that's what
It's
she's talking about. Perfectly reasonable, really, if you ask me.
I will suggest. I mean, I'm not going to say, but I will suggest her that she she can't be. Her father can't be a member of the ant because she's a half duster. So, but
Mhm.
uh,
Mhm.
going to. I was really going to say to her that uh, the sands are hers. She can do with them what she wants,
Mhm.
and I will apologize to her because I will say I have done a great many things in this few weeks, in last few weeks, but none of them brought me closer to the secrets of glass forging. So, if you need me to make the weapons, you will have to
What
wait
what
for me.
I propose, she says, is that we bring the most experts that we can find, and you can work with them. You can, if this is what you want, if you want to become more skilled in this, I think this is the best opportunity, or this is a great opportunity to work with these materials with the people that I can bring.
I say that tell her that yes, it's a very generous offer, but right now I'm thinking that I'm going to leave town and I want to travel north again
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not going to be mellow or go all epic on her. But I say I think I understood what I can do, what how I can impact uh, the world around me in these travels, and I want to reach that community of horse breeders
Ah,
because I left something in I want to know how that story ends, and
well, I would
I
like
will
to know
see if
too.
I can.
Let Hod will see you well supplied, and he will provide you with. I will provide you, if you want, with some token of my support.
I will greatly appreciate that.
Excellent. So you see what she just did?
Basically,
Put you in her
we are
employment, right?
well.
So
I'm going
she's
to be
just helping.
going to have
She's
my
just
own
offering
opinion.
a little support. She's just helping.
Yeah.
She's really good at this stuff. Okay, so good enough. All right. Um, it seems like the way we played and the content as you guys dealt with it did not really lead me to want to have a movie style ending where everybody all comes
Mm,
together and then the big
mm,
explosion happens.
mhm.
The
No, no.
clearly big things are happening culturally, and they will happen at their own pace and in their own
Right.
way, and with other major players making their own decisions. And so, who knows what Sisivel? I mean, Sisivel probably wants a little bit more than just plain old trade and prosperity that he and his sister
Yeah.
had discussed through, I might add, through messengers, not face to face, right? And
Yeah.
so they never really met as adults. And Sisiva is not going to be expecting a master of death magic, and this whole
Nobody
tribe blow up.
does.
I mean, remember, she wants to go back to the ant tribe, and the ant tribe is not what anybody expects right now. And
Hmm.
and
I'd
so
say
who
Tasha
knows
is
what's
going to
going to
be
happen in the
equally
midst.
surprised.
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen in the midst of that. For his part, Sisivel, who I always was looking forward to role playing, and I never got the chance. You guys wouldn't go back to him for love nor money. And so the point is that whoops, Sam, did we lose Sam again? What, did we
Ron,
lose me? Yeah, sorry.
can you
Yeah,
repeat?
yeah,
We
Yeah,
lost you.
yeah.
we lost you for a
I
moment.
realized
Yes.
that you guys all froze, and I know what that
US.
means. It means I froze. So right. So let me back up. For his part, Sisivel is not how am I going to put it? At first, his whole view of what he wanted was very much a traditional war chief, young war chief of a tribe which could extend its influence and strengthen its ties through his family connections to prosperity. And it all seems rather reasonable, if you ask me, right? Well, now he's been catapulted into things, and he has information and a cultural awareness that he never dreamed of before. He and Sasiva may well have known they were half-dusters, but even then, they would have seen no reason for them not to have simply been raised in the ant tribe like everybody else, right? So at the most that Sasiva ever expected was some sort of soap opera back at the tribe, right? Some sort of feud or family problem or some illicit affair. Maybe her father, who knows, some taboo maybe was broken or something like that. She never dreamed it was this profound, right? When she finds that out, which Sasiva will almost certainly tell her, right? That's a whole different world for her to process as well. Whether she cares. Maybe, of all of you, Sasiva probably cares the least about that, right?
Yeah,
She's like, some guy had sex with some lady. So, and so there's interactions there, but those are mine NPCs. That's not your problem, right? But whatever it is, there's a whole new world is happening here.
But I think it's also good that, considering when we started off, I was looking at the rules, and I was thinking, okay, this speaks of dungeon crawling, but all these skills look to me like
they're not dungeon crawling skills.
They are. Yeah. It's people living together. It's people living. Right. It looks like what people do day to day, and it's, in a way, it's kind of nice that, aside from our skewered friend in the desert, we kind of end up in a place where what is going to drive the character is living, not questing,
Right.
It's been like 3 sessions that I figured out that for Farid, the one thing that stuck with him was that situation with the humans.
That's fascinating, right? Because the others, Vefselk couldn't get away from it fast enough, right?
Yeah.
So,
And, no, but it's kind of the human side of him thinking.
Right.
It's basically just a very basic damsel in distress situation.
Yeah.
But in another way, is a way to distance himself. I mean, from all this, which is bigger than him. So, going there, doing something that is on his own scale right now.
Right.
Maybe find a place, start working.
Right.
Away from all this trouble,
Well, yes, although I actually, if we followed up on that, it would be very amusing for him to realize that no matter what he thinks, everybody is going to say Sasiva's man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I guess so. Yeah.
Right.
But in a way,
I mean, I'm certain there are many people who thought that they had a nice, friendly, neutral relationship with her, who had to come to terms with the fact that they are in the mafia now. Right, sooner.
It's actually like the movie. It's like the plot of the movie Thief. Have you seen Thief?
No,
it's like, it's well, I won't.
Okay.
Tell the whole plot, but
okay.
It's like that movie.
So,
but I think it's also nice that whatever he finds, if he goes there and she's still in trouble, and Christos is still alive.
I can assure you, whatever is happening over there is full of trouble. Right.
Yeah, but if it's
extra chibi.
Yeah, it's kind of it's kind of an extension of an origin story. I mean, anything could happen if he finds.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's a lot like what Sam was saying. It's like the origin story is play itself, right? And that's I think that makes a lot of sense. So the other thing I was going to say is that, for me, playing this game was heavily, and I mean heavily, dependent on those location maps. Every time I thought about an upcoming session, it would just fuzz out in front of my mind. Everything that I liked about the setting that we've made up and the characters and everything made sense. But when it came to, okay, where are we going to be? You know, how are we going to play? I had to go. And as you know, I began with a whole bunch of interesting landscapes and things like that duster, you know, encampment and things. And I came up with, you know, the river canyon and stuff like that. I had stuff in my mind, and I drew upon those when they were appropriate. But I also went and searched, and looked around. I don't know, fantasy wasteland illustration search, right? Or stuff like that. Or Riverside Town, you know, fantasy map, Riverside Town search. And I would get hundreds of images from hundreds of games or books or whatever. And it really allowed me to say, that's what it looks like in my mind. That's the right illustration. And so, it allowed me all of those cool spots, you know, wherever you landed, there was a cool spot to be in. And it was the right stage for the people that I knew you would have to be interacting with. And so for me, this was it was almost like a cinematographer. The director says, so where are we going to have an idea of who needs to be, you know, they're going to be dealing with the quail people. All right, what about that? And the cameraman's like, come here.
Right.
Yes. Look at what. Let me show you something. Right. And so
it's
that's
funny because
the director's like, oh yes, right. That's what it was like for me every single session. And if I didn't have that, I would not have been able to play. Right.
Yeah,
it's funny. You say that because a lot of scenes. I think two sessions ago, I was thinking that. I was picturing in my mind the scene transitions, like, you know, the Saturday matinee Star Wars thing with one scene paneling over the other. Right. And it was very much, I think if we were to go in the process of doing that dreadful thing about fixing games, this game screams for episodic play.
It really does, yeah. It's because otherwise you're just like washing dishes and going shopping and putting the shoe on the horse and whatever else it is. Do I get kicked by the horse when I put the shoe on it, and stuff like that. Right.
Imagine if there is something that is going to force the features of a situation on you. That stuff could become useful if it's not all driven by some large plot or stuff like that. But now it's what happened to us. We were in a lot of different situations. Sometimes we were doing the wilderness thing. Sometimes we were negotiating. Sometimes it was town. I think it's if the situation keep being diverse and focused on what's happening to the characters, those skills can become,
right.
Interesting.
The book actually comes out and says it. The book, in the extremely tiny text that it gives us about what play is supposed to look like, it talks about presenting, and this is very vague in the book, presenting a situation very vaguely. And so you don't get much guidance about what that even means, but it does say, let the players decide what skills they want to bring into play. Let them give the players room. And you're absolutely right. That has nothing to do with creating a dungeon with monsters in it. Nothing. There's no resemblance at all. The system just doesn't support that. You know what's really interesting is that the authors of this game, and I kept saying the year wrong, this is actually 2001. And that is 1 year after the publication, or maybe it's 2 years technically after the publication of Forge Out of Chaos, which is the game they are playing, they're posting about. And this game acknowledges the authors of Forge Out of Chaos for all their help. So they knew each other. So these are like partner heartbreakers. But
Oh, wow.
you cannot get
Interesting.
as far apart in philosophy as these two games.